I hope you're ready for a Knitcity vlog of 2025. This was the convention center where it's held over the 27th and 28th of September. It was actually pretty full on this Saturday, pretty busy. As soon as you walked in, you were greeted by this cute little project bag and a tote. Now these sold out rather quickly, as always. But one of my first stops that I really enjoy is the Sweet Georgia Yarns Craft Lounge. This is where people often sit and knit. There are sometimes demonstrations like weaving, spinning, carding, and of course right next to it is the Sweet Georgia Yarns booth. Look at these colors. These are all locally dyed and they are beautiful. I then tried to make my way and not get too distracted to my next favorite booth that I love to support, Melly Knits. Melissa is so sweet and I just love her bats. They're beautiful, and she was also sharing a booth. Would you just look at this merino? Beautiful. But she was sharing a booth with Sherry from Conigas Textiles, who also had 1 pound bags of washed and unwashed raw wool, natural wool. Now, before we get too far in today's video, I did want to take a quick moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform full of carefully designed classes led by industry professionals and creative pros, created with your learning goals in mind. Maybe you want to learn a new skill, start a creative side hustle, or just get better at something you're passionate about but aren't really sure where to begin. With Skillshare's huge variety of classes, there's really no better place to start. For example, in art and illustration, you can take character illustration, drawing faces, figures, and clothing by Gabrielle Piccolo, a comic artist and illustrator. There are also classes in animation, photography, graphic design, and even productivity, like Real Productivity, How to Build Habits That Last by Thomas Frank, another YouTuber, author, and entrepreneur. No matter your interests, Skillshare has something for everyone. Recently, I took a class by Cheryl Chan, a fellow YouTuber, called Romanticize Your Business, video content creation with Canva. Now, I don't have a small business just quite yet. Yet is a key word. I've actually found this class incredibly motivating and practical for someone like me who's trying to grow their social media presence even more. I often struggle with narrowing down my ideas into final finished reels or shorts to post here on YouTube and Instagram. Cheryl walks you through her process step by step, giving you real, clear, approachable advice while using tools I personally already loved, such as Canva and Notion. Most of the classes are probably around an hour long, but they're broken down into 6 to 8 minute lessons, which makes them so easy to follow and fit right into your schedule. There's even a project after the class that you can do, which you can then share on Skillshare to put exactly what you've learned into practice, or you can even see what other classmates have done. If there's a creative skill or life skill you've been wanting to learn but just aren't quite sure where to start, check out Skillshare. The first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan the QR code will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. And get started today. Thanks again, Skillshare, for sponsoring today's video. Now, it's always so hard to leave this booth with not buying a mega bat and 7 mini bats. If you've ever felt these bats, you know what I mean. I just love hand carded or drum carded wool. One of the best part about Knitcity is just walking around, perusing the yarn, feeling the yarn, talking to other knitters about what they have on their back or what yarns they like, and just talking about projects. I then also just stopped by the Kensington Prairie Farms booth and checked out what yarns they had brought with them. Now, if you guys haven't checked out my vlog of me visiting the farm during their annual sheep shearing, I highly recommend you do. It was a lot of fun. And here I am. Hello! I actually had stopped by this booth, which was Your Next Knit, where I think I might have found the perfect color combo match for a previous yarn. We'll discuss later. There was this super fun booth. I don't remember the name exactly, but they had these cute jackets, all hand sewn, and it gave me great quilting ideas. This was the Tofino Knit Co. booth. I really wanted to get a particular yarn from there, which sadly they didn't bring with them. They do have it on their site, which I might order. That didn't stop me from appreciating all of the beautiful yarn that they brought with them. I really like their yarn, especially their mohair. There were also many other booths that I wasn't too familiar with, but as always, it is so fun to see and discover new vendors, new sellers. But here is the beloved Myrtle yarn. I just love her colors, and she shared a booth with Bumpa the Builder, who sells beautiful spindles right across the Sweet Georgia craft station or lounge. It was a little bit quiet at some points of the day. But again, just looking at these yarns, trying to imagine what project I could knit with them, what exactly I could mix with yarns I have back at home, is something I really, really love to do. I could spend hours doing just that. Crafty Jack's Boutiques always has this super cute little pick, like a little word of wisdom, a little heartfelt comment, and this was mine for the day. Of course, it was Dr. Seuss. Just got back from Knitcity, and I thought, you know what? While it's still all fresh in my mind, in my little brain, let's talk about everything that I got, and then tomorrow I could just go to the class, maybe shoot a little bit more, show you guys a bit more about the festival, because it is going to be a bit more quiet on Sunday, and then go from there. So I'm really excited to show you what I have. I don't think it was too much. I don't think I overdid it, and I'm really proud of myself because I went in with this little spreadsheet right here that I had made for myself of projects that I thought I was gonna buy yarn for. I didn't find yarn for everything, but I found yarn for the ones that really mattered and the ones that I kind of knew going in I was gonna get this type of yarn and fiber for. So, but before we do talk about yarn, I just want to plug a little bit maybe the label for her Mabel Meadow cardigan, because the amount of people that came up to me asking what is exactly this pattern, and as I was at Knitcity, the pattern went live and it is now purchasable. So if you guys haven't checked out Mippy the Label, I highly recommend you go check her out. She has some really nice cute patterns, very unique, like this type of style, lace, chunky, beautiful patterns. I highly recommend it. But if you are curious, this is the Mabel Meadow cardigan, and I'm actually going to be removing it because it's a little bit warm right now, but I did just want to show you guys. So first off, as soon as I got at Knitcity, I knew where I was going to go, the first booth I really wanted to see, and that is of course Melly Knits. There was just no way that I was going to start anywhere else. I had seen this on her Instagram when she was showing her like store stock update before Knitcity. I knew that I was going to get this one. I didn't even know what the fiber was. I was just like, yes, this is me. This is my vibe right now. And that is actually this beautiful bat. This is called Pond Scum, and I think it really well represents this color. It's definitely like a mossy green with some blues and yellows. Kind of right now, I don't know why the camera's picking it up as a little bit brown, but this is definitely swamp vibes. But because normally I always get one bat and then it's never enough for like a full project, I decided this time around to get two. The only Melly Knit bats that I bought this time are both Pond Scum. They're Chaos bats, and the wool combination is Cumbria Cross Corriedale, sourced by Conigas Textiles, blended with 10% mulberry silk and 10% recycled silk. So this is 100, did I say the grams? 100 grams. So I have 200 grams of Pond Scum. She did have a giant bat, and as I walked to the booth, someone literally picked it up and bought it right away. Not that I was gonna get the mega bat, because the mega bat is like 300 grams, so it would have been like, basically for the mega bats, it's 3 of these. Funny enough, after buying it, I realized later on that this is Cumbria Cross Corriedale, sourced by Conigas Textiles. This is Corriedale, sourced by the same supplier. So basically, I just got a silk and green version of the same wool. I mean, I loved that wool for that sweater, and I got so many compliments about the cardigan. Well, first off, for the pattern. People were really intrigued about the pattern, but also just the fact that I spun it up and knit it. It piqued a lot of interest, and I'm so happy that that was the sweater I chose for day one of Knitcity. Now, along with these little bats and this cute little tote bag that Emily gave me from Melly Knits, they also offered a couple of their random little stationery that they've had in the past months, and I think because of certain events, so I picked up a couple of them. So I picked up, of course, 2 super cute Stash Dasher stickers. This one is the most funny, adorable sticker I've ever seen in my life, and then just the really traditional Stash Dasher sticker. And I also got a little keychain of the logo. Ooh, focus. Yeah. Super cute. And they were super nice for giving these out. Honestly, Melissa is like one of the sweetest, nicest person. If you ever met her or will meet her, yeah, she's one of the sweetest, nicest person ever. Super friendly, super talkative, and just like really loves to share and ask questions and just hear what you're thinking, but also just loves to talk about wool and breeds and combinations, and just honestly a pure joy to meet. And I'm really glad to support her business. I also finally met in person at the booth Melly Knits. I met Rachel from Rachel Smith, and she offered me a couple of her business cards. I have 3 because I gave some of them away too. But one thing that's really cool about her business cards is at the back, if you are a spinner, she was telling me that you could just punch a hole in the card and then tie it to your wheel so that you'll always have a twist angle meterage. So that measure guide. Yeah, so that was really, really sweet. But I was super happy to finally meet her and talk to her in person, and also talk a little bit about my Breed of the Month Fibre study, because I know that she did it. So I told her that I watched her videos or her episodes, live episodes, like from the past when she was doing it before I start my spin. So I know what to more or less expect, but also kind of have a base on like what the wool feels like and what to expect, like a better grasp to help me decide how to spin it. That's what I'm trying to say. Now onto the yarn. I didn't get too much, don't worry. So the first thing that I picked up was kind of a surprise, and I didn't anticipate picking this one, but this just really spoke to me. I'm super happy that I got it, and a couple people came up to me saying, I really love that you're having your Shrek moment, or I really like your Shrek green sweater, because I keep commenting that it's like Shrek green or swamp green, and those are just the colors that I'm really vibing with. But like those colors really suit me well, and I just really like them. So this is 2 skeins from Kensington Prairie Farm. It is their Boucle Alpaca blend, 63% baby alpaca, 29 FS alpaca. What's FS? And 8% Donegal. Avocado and chartreuse with brown and black flecks. That is the colorway. This is 190 meters the skein. So before going to Knitcity, I kind of had looked over the patterns in my Ravelry that I really, really wanted to knit up, and the Obsidian slipover was there. So I looked at that, and I saw that since then, the designer had released another pattern, the Dune sweater vest, and that one really piqued my interest. So I had them both on my list with me with the yardage requirements and the meterage and everything when I went to Knitcity, and I couldn't find the right, I don't know, maybe I couldn't decide on the right shade of kind of like color I wanted for the Obsidian. And for some reason, the boucle yarn was a lot easier to find. So I originally wanted to make the Obsidian green, but I guess I'm making the Dune green, so I can't make the Obsidian green. That's too much green, right? Anyways, I went with this one for the Dune sweater vest, and I think it's gonna be beautiful. And along with this, I'm gonna be holding some Lichen and Lace neon kind of green. This color is olive oil. It is Marsham mohair, 64% kid silk mohair and 36% silk. 50 grams equals 459 yards. So this one is just a little bit, so this one's gonna be short. I think I needed a couple, not 100 meters more, but a couple more meters. And I'm gonna knit it, see what happens. I might play yarn chicken. But I didn't want to buy a full other skein of this type of green mohair only to use less than like 15% of it. Anyways, it's going to be a gamble, but I'm really excited. Isn't this beautiful? It's such a fun green. Super excited. Love it. I then, for some reason, ended up going back to Kensington Prairie Farm because I had originally wanted to buy yarn from Defino Knit Co. for the Cloud Sweater by Petite Knit. And even when I went, I met up with a friend who was wearing a cloud sweater by Petite Knit, knit in a different type of yarn from Defino Knit Co. But they sadly didn't have this yarn with them. They had left it back at home because I think the dyer said that she just didn't have time to dye it before the yarn festival. So she left it all at home, which is totally fine. Not an issue. So instead, I ended up going back to Kensington Prairie Farm because this was the only one that I thought would fit that pattern, but the only kind of color that I also really enjoyed and again thought would fit that pattern because I wanted a more muted, calm cloud sweater. So I went with this kind of like brownish gray. I really, really like this, and it's kind of like, is it the Alpaca Air from Drops? Might be, but it makes me think of that. So this is 1-ply Pooch Poo Alpaca Light, 70% baby alpaca and 7% merino with 23 recycled polyamide. So that is what is really interesting to me, is the fact that it's merino and baby alpaca. And the swatch that they had on display was just so soft and amazing. I knew that this, oh my God, amazing. I think this is gonna be such a beautiful chunky sweater. I can't wait to get it casted on and start knitting it up. I really, really like it. Yeah, so I got 3 of these. I also really, really needed to get yarn for my sister because I've been talking about this for a while, but I'm gonna be making her a sweater vest for her birthday. So I ended up buying this beautiful blue. This is from Ancient Yarns. I got 3 skeins of the DK Nettle Soft Superwash Fine Merino and 32% Nettle. Now the fact that it's superwash kind of makes me think this is going to be amazing. It's not going to pill, it's not going to felt hopefully, because superwash tends to do that less. So it's a great alternative to someone who, well, it's a great alternative as a gift yarn for someone who doesn't knit, but someone who doesn't regularly deal with like knitted items and such. So I got 3 of these. And this is Nettle Soft Superwash 68% Fine Merino, 32% Nettle. It is a DK weight. It is 240 meters, the 100 grams. So I got 3. And along with that, I thought that I was gonna be done for the day. Like I was ready to walk out. And as I was walking out, because the pattern asks you to hold it with a mohair, I turned my head and I saw the perfect mohair. So I got pearl mohair from Mabel, and I've been wanting to try this mohair because it keeps popping up on Instagram. It's an Italian mohair. This is 70% kid silk and 30% silk. Well, 70% mohair and 30% kid silk. Wait, what? No, 70% super kid mohair and 30% silk. It is 210 meters the skein. Why am I having such a hard time? But aren't these the perfect shades to be together? I think that this sweater vest is gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. And I'm probably gonna have some yarn left over from this. So I'm gonna have to figure out something for that. But I'm really, really excited that I was able to get this one. I definitely got more than I needed because it's a gift. I don't want to play yarn chicken on someone else's gift. On my own knits, if it's a little cropped, but when it's a gift, do it right, you know? I'm harder on myself when I'm knitting for someone else than when I'm knitting for myself. I don't know, I can forgive my own mistakes. What was super nice about that last vendor was this was from Your Next Knit, and they also gifted a super cute business card, and there's a discount code on the back that I'm not gonna show you guys because it's for people who attended Knitcity, along with these super cute little stitch markers. I've been really into this type of stitch marker lately where it's kind of just like a pin. Oh, they put little beads. I've been really into this type of stitch marker lately. I've been using it a lot, especially on my sweater that I'm knitting, the jean sweater. They're just so light and small, but because it's a clip-on and it's not a plastic clip-on, I don't know, I just find them so much nicer to knit with. So I'm really glad that they gave a lot of these. I don't know, it's really, really nice. So I'm really appreciative of that. Yeah. I'm gonna save this coupon code. And then finally for today, I knew, because I was wearing my sweater, hand spun sweater, I knew that I was gonna probably pick up another pound of fleece. I just didn't really know what. I was kind of torn between Cormo and Bond. Those are the wools that I really wanted to get. Bond a little more than Cormo, but they didn't have any. So I of course went and got a pound of washed Cormo. Now I decided to go with washed this time. It is more pricey for a washed fleece, definitely, than a raw one, but because summer's over, I kind of figured it's gonna be wet. It's already wet here in Vancouver. It's raining today, and it's just gonna get worse till next spring. I don't really have room in my apartment to dry a whole pound of wool, so I figured, you know what? Let's get it washed. I'm just gonna pay more. Now, this fleece is beautiful. It is so soft, so fluffy. It is a really short staple length, but I've spun this one before, which I actually realized afterwards. I made this little skein from it because when I went to Fibre West in March, I had actually bought the pound of Corriedale, but then I bought a sample kit of Cormo. I'm always tempted to say Bond, but I bought Cormo, and this was actually the Cormo that I got. It was just already sort of pre-drafted from Melly Knits, and it spun up so well. Oh my god, it spun up so well. So I'm really, really excited to see. I'm going to be hand carding this whole pound and turning it into yarn to then figure out, who knows, maybe there's going to be a new test knit available for me to join. I'm already like picking hay out of it, but who knows, maybe there's going to be a new test knit for me to join, so then I can knit something else with my hand spun. And these two colors are beautiful. This one's a little more brown, but this one's more gray. So I opened it, and here's the full pound of wool. Crazy, 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 crazy. So that kind of sums up day one for Knitcity for me. Now I'm gonna go knit, rest, relax, and I'm super excited for tomorrow because it's gonna be my first workshop at one of these events, and I'm excited to see who's gonna be there. Usually Sundays are a lot more quiet, which is a totally different vibe, which is really nice. So I'm gonna be looking forward to that as well. There's one skein that I'm already thinking of adding to this because as I left, I was like, I didn't need it, but now that I'm thinking it over, it would work super well with hand spun yarn. So if I do get it, maybe we can talk about it afterwards. But for now, I guess this is it for my little Knitcity vlog adventure. I need to rest. I need to sleep. Well, not sleep, just lay down and potato. Hello, hi, good morning, it's Sunday. And I decided to start today with a little bit of spinning before heading off to Knitcity because I have a little bit more time. It's currently 8:30. The market opens at 9, but turns out I have a class at 10. I thought it was 1 to 5, but no, it's 10 to 1. I'm gonna head over a little bit later to the convention today, which is totally fine. And then after that, we can have more time at the market and maybe talk to more people, see more yarn, have a last goodbye daytime, and then come back home. But yeah, I just wanted to get a little bit of spinning done this morning before I head out. By the way, I'm spinning this remboulé that I got from Little Fibre Co. at Flock. I remember showing you guys what it looks like, and my goal with this one is to pair it with one of the Brambles Ridge Hanui wools that I got from Fibre West. It was the colorway of Fibre West, and I really, really liked it. So that is my goal for this spin. I'm hoping to create a beautiful traveler shawl, but a light pastel traveler shawl. I think that that's going to be really nice. Also, by the way, today I have decided to wear, but I'm going to be wearing my Dagmar sweater, my zipper Dagmar by Petite Knit. I think this is going to be the vibe I'm going to go for. Hopefully I don't die of heat. But yesterday I was actually really comfy with my cardigan all day long. I didn't find it warm at all. And this yarn is warmish. It's the Serrano by Dagmar Natura, but it's not like overly warm. It's a merino. It's a pretty like thick plied merino, but it's not excessively warm. So hopefully it does take in a lot of air because of the cables. So yeah, should be fine. I should be fine. Off to my little workshop. Let's go. Let's learn how to write patterns. So the workshop was actually outside the convention center in a sort of little room. There were about 20 of us. Some of us were here really to learn how to write patterns. Some of us were there to figure out how to modify patterns. But I would say it was more of an introduction than an actual class. Of course, after the workshop, I had to go back and look at more yarn. I also went over to the Long Way Homestead booth and I said hello to Anna and tell her all about my experience with the Fibre study doing the breed of the month. It was really nice to meet her and talk about her breed study. I'm really happy about going to say hi to her. Knitcity also has the super cute booth, well, this one booth where you can skein up your yarn if you don't have a ball winder at home. You want to leave with your yarn caked up. This cowl was beautiful. It was so soft, and this was my first time seeing this yarn or feeling this yarn. Very interesting. I then stopped by the Brambles Ridge booth to see the colorway of Knitcity. This one was the Hanui. There was a BFL wool blend, and then there was a third option in the colorway along with some skeined up versions. So right outside the convention center, there were actually a couple food trucks both days, and because it had stopped raining, people were actually sitting, chatting, eating, and knitting right outside at the little picnic tables, which was really nice. Day 2 is now done. I just got back from the market. It was so much fun, but day 2 is definitely a much more slow-paced vibe. It's a lot more chill. It's just a lot less people. Of course, there's less option in yarn colors and specific yarns, but it's a completely different vibe and it's a lot more cozy on the second day. I really like the second day, and this time, sadly, I couldn't spend as much time there because I did have the workshop from 10 to 1, and the market closed at 3. I was so sure that in the past the market closed at 5 p.m., but I might be wrong on Sundays. It closed at 3, so definitely that just gave me time to do a couple last loops and then kind of come home and talk to you guys. By the way, I did want to say thank you to everybody who came and said that they were viewers of the channel, and it was amazing to meet you guys and say hi and finally learn some of your names, learn a little bit about you, maybe meet your mom because some people were with their moms. Actually, quite a few of you guys were shopping with your moms, which is super cute. So much fun. I love a good family yarn shared passion hobby. Yes, I love it. But yeah, and for those of you who are too shy to say hi to me, don't worry. Honestly, I'm really awkward, and there were a couple interactions that were, I'm sorry for those of you guys who it just came off a little awkward. I know that these situations, especially yesterday with everybody looking at yarn, it's kind of hard to get into a conversation when someone's already conversing with someone else. It's a little stressful. You're overly excited because of all the yarn yourself. Like it's a lot. So don't worry. But yeah, day 2 was just very nice, very calm, and it's a good way to wrap up. I feel like I didn't go overboard. In the past, I used to buy the last 2 that I went. I bought so much more stuff. This time I feel like it was, but I think it's also because I kind of know myself more as a knitter now, and because I've been to a few of these, I'm like accumulating a stash. I'm not building one as much anymore. So I did go with goals in mind. However, today there was one thing that I went and picked up right away because I knew yesterday I kind of regretted not getting it. And that is actually this beautiful burgundy skein. This is Sooke Yarn and Fibers. It is 90% baby Surrey alpaca and 10% silk. Brushed alpaca, non-superwash. This is a DK weight skein. Look how like not olive, grape color maroon this is. The color is actually called blackberry, and my favorite thing of all, the yarn is called Hell Yeah DK. And definitely this is the softest yarn DK weight I've ever felt in my life. And what I had seen that they had done was they had knit a couple of cowls with this exact yarn. There were sweaters, but this was $44 the skein, so it's a bit pricey. I just wanted to get one just to say I have it. And what really kind of put me over to buying it, and what I was renumerating over last night, was actually the fact that they knit cowls with this and held it with another yarn. And the cowls that they did and had on display were like color work cowls. So I think it was with a Cascade 2020. The sample that they had be the Ooey Gooey by Andrea Mowry, which was beautiful. So I don't know that I want to knit the Ooey Gooey, but this made me think maybe I could knit my own cowl and use this in the, like, get inspired by that project and use this with a yarn that I already have in my stash. Because if you remember, during Tour de Fleece, I spun up this beautiful yarn from Lynn Biscotte. And I just thought that together, this would be beautiful. It's just like a dark enough color to like, yeah. So I'm going to be making a cowl. I don't know exactly what pattern I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to make up my own color work. I just feel like this around my neck is going to be the softest thing ever. If I have any footage of the cowl specifically, I think I did film it. I'm going to put it right here, or pictures. But this yarn is amazing. And they had a sweater like fully knit in just one strand of the DK weight. And I just like shoved my arm in it, and it was so soft and warm. I think a sweater of this would be a little bit too much, however, because it is very, very long and fuzzy. It's a little too fuzzy for my liking in a sweater at least, but in a cowl. So going back, I knew immediately that I was gonna get this one. I also picked up from Sunflower Knit. This was from Woolen Waves. They had a booth. Woolen Waves is a yarn shop, and they had a booth at Knitcity. And I picked up Knitter's Joint Salve from Sunflower Knit. Whoops. From Sunflower Knit, because I actually had received, this is a smaller jar than they had 4 years ago or 3 years ago, because I won, well, my boyfriend won the raffle one year for Knitcity, and there was a jar of this in like the gift. This is amazing. This is the best. Oh my god, it smells so good. But this is the best knitting salve ever. Basically, if your hands get sore or you feel like you're working your hands a lot, you just put a little bit of this on your hands, and it's essential oils and really good, like, for example, it's herbal oils with yarrow, arnica, St. John's wort, thyme, calendula, comfrey root, white willow bark, local beeswax, essential oils such as lavender, eucalyptus, rosemary, lemon, and peppermint. And it smells so good, but it also kind of like warms your joints up. Maybe it's a placebo, I don't know, but I really, really like it, and I ran through that jar super quickly, so I knew I was going to pick up another one of these. So again, Sunflower Knit, the knitting salve, I highly recommend it. They also have a body butter, but I just like the salve. Finally, the last purchase of all of Knitcity was actually this little accessory. It is from slipover ring, the ultimate yarn ring, is I got this tally counter, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have, because when I go to knitting meetups, a lot of people have this. And this one, what is interesting is it is actually for your finger. So I don't know if this is exactly how I would put it while I'm knitting, but basically you can just like press, reset, and it just counts for your rows or repeats. Yeah, because I had one that you put on the yarn as you knit, and that just always gave a gap in the knitting project, and I really didn't like it. So I did pick one of these up. But other than that, I guess that this kind of sums up my Knitcity haul and my Knitcity convention. Now I know a couple of you guys are going to be asking me what exactly is the workshop that I took, and the one I took is Idea to Pattern, Intro to Knitwear Design by Megan Nodecker, and she is a pattern designer. She has been for many years, and it was really nice to hear her story and just, well, first off, meet her, but also hear her story about how she got into knitting and pattern designing, and just hear how she kind of works up her patterns. Of course, she didn't explicitly say like the steps and step by step that she takes, but it was a very general knowledge intro class. A lot of this info is, for example, I've been trying to design my own patterns. So I have the leftover candy sock that is already available on Ravelry if you are interested. It's a really cute ankle sock, and I've gotten really great feedback about it. But yeah, that's my only written available pattern right now. But since making that sock, I've been dilly-dallying, or just like trying to see if I can come up with sweaters, because I have sweaters in my head. The issue always came with grading and sizing and just like what to do next. And this course or workshop really helped me to just reassure me and give me not the comfort, but the confidence I needed that I was in fact doing the right thing and I can actually do this. So I'm really glad that I went. It was a lot of general knowledge, and it was a lot of like a lot of the people who took the course with me were also people who wanted to learn how to modify patterns, learn how to adjust like certain things in patterns, also design their own patterns. But there was no like step by step, like this wasn't her going through her pattern and how she exactly came up with it step by step by step by step, because there is no specific way to write up a pattern or create a design, but there are certain guidelines to more or less follow, and there are certain, not rules, but she just gave her like personal opinion on how she does it and how it works up, which was really nice to hear. She also gave a couple references of certain things to help you in your pattern writing or pattern designing, and just kind of how she works up a pattern. That was really fun. But it basically just like really made me want to write my own patterns again and get back into it. This kind of wraps up Knitcity for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys were there, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know what you bought and what you're planning to make. And if you watch, I hope you guys have a lovely, beautiful day. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!